A 17-day-old baby boy, barely home from the hospital, nestled in his mother's arms as she stepped into a stranger's car. The woman behind the wheel seemed trustworthy, professional, even speaking the mother's native language. But within minutes, that baby would vanish forever, leaving behind one of the most calculated and heartbreaking abductions in American history. This is the story of Kevin Verville Jr., a case that has haunted investigators for 45 years and continues to baffle experts today. What makes this case extraordinary isn't just the audacity of the crime, but the meticulous planning that went into it, and the shocking revelation that the perpetrator had been hunting for the perfect victim for days. On July 1, 1980, Camp Pendleton Marine Corporal Kevin Verville Sr. and his wife Angelina were living the American dream. They had just welcomed their first child, Kevin Jr., born on June 14th. The family resided in Sterling Homes, an off-base military housing complex in Oceanside, California, where young military families started their lives together. But their dreams were about to become a nightmare that would span nearly 5 decades. The woman who would destroy their lives had been preparing for weeks. She called herself Sheila, though investigators believe this was just another layer of deception. What makes her approach so chilling is how she specifically targeted this community, this family, this baby. Sheila didn't just randomly appear at the Verville's door. She had been systematically canvassing Sterling Homes for days, speaking to over 30 different families. She wasn't looking for just any baby. She had very specific criteria that would make your blood run cold. She was searching for an infant under 6 months old who was part Filipino. The precision of her hunting pattern reveals a level of premeditation that transforms this from a crime of opportunity into something far more calculated. When Sheila finally approached the Verville family, she came armed with everything needed to gain their trust. She presented herself as a social worker from an organization called Project Help, even carrying a laminated identification card that looked official. She spoke to Angelina in Tagalog, her native Filipino language, creating an instant connection that would prove fatal. Project Help, she explained, was designed to help low-income military families with financial assistance, diapers, and baby formula. For a young Marine family struggling to make ends meet, this seemed like a godsend. Sheila promised to return the next day to take Kevin Jr. and his mother to Project Help's headquarters to enroll in the program. Here's where the story takes a turn that still sends chills down investigators' spines. When authorities later checked, Project Help was indeed a real organization. But here's the terrifying part. No one who worked there had ever heard of anyone named Sheila or anyone matching her description. This wasn't some spontaneous deception. This was a carefully researched con that exploited the genuine needs of military families while using the name of a legitimate charity. The level of planning involved suggests someone with intimate knowledge of both military life and social services. On July 1, 1980, Sheila returned as promised. She arrived driving a gray or silver 4-door sedan, possibly a 1975 Mercury Cougar. Kevin Jr. had just recovered from infant jaundice and had only been home from the hospital for about a week. His parents, still adjusting to life with a newborn, were grateful for any assistance they could get. Angelina, carrying her 17-day-old son, climbed into Sheila's car. The drive began normally, with Sheila explaining they needed to stop to pick up another mother who was also enrolling her child in the program. This detail would later prove crucial to understanding just how elaborate this deception was. As they drove toward the remote rural area in northern San Diego County, near the town of Fallbrook, Sheila continued her performance. She maintained the facade of a caring social worker, discussing the program's benefits and making small talk that kept Angelina relaxed and unsuspecting. But when they reached their destination, slightly east of Highway 76 and Interstate 15, the mask finally came off. Sheila pulled over near a house and turned to Angelina with a request that would change everything. She explained that she was pregnant and asked if Angelina would mind knocking on the door to get the other mother, since she could watch Kevin Jr. while Angelina stepped out. This moment represents the culmination of weeks of planning. Sheila had orchestrated every detail to reach this precise instant where she could separate mother from child. The pregnancy claim, the remote location, the specific request, all of it was designed to create the perfect opportunity for abduction. Angelina, trusting and helpful, stepped out of the car to knock on the door. The moment her feet hit the ground, Sheila's car roared to life. As Angelina turned back, she watched in horror as the vehicle sped away, carrying her 17-day-old son into the unknown. Standing alone on a deserted rural road with no way to call for help and no one around to assist her, Angelina faced every parent's worst nightmare. Her baby was gone, taken by someone she had trusted completely. The immediate aftermath triggered one of the largest search operations in San Diego County history. The FBI became involved within hours, treating this as a federal kidnapping case. Search teams scoured the area where Angelina had been abandoned, looking for any trace of the missing infant or his abductor. But Sheila had vanished as completely as she had appeared. No trace of the gray sedan, no leads on her true identity, no clues about where she might have taken Kevin Jr. It was as if she had simply evaporated into thin air. The investigation revealed the true scope of Sheila's preparation. When detectives interviewed residents of Sterling Homes, they discovered that Sheila had been a regular presence in the complex for several days before the abduction. She had approached dozens of families, always with the same story about Project Help, always asking specific questions about their children's ages and ethnic backgrounds. She demonstrated knowledge of military life that was suspiciously detailed, asking about service members' ranks and specifically targeting those with ratings up to E5. This detail shows someone who understood that higher-ranking personnel would be less likely to need assistance from a social service agency. The witness interviews allowed investigators to create composite sketches of Sheila. She was described as being between 20 and 28 years old, approximately 5'1" to 5'3" tall, and weighing between 105 and 135 pounds. She was white, possibly of Filipino or Spanish heritage, with red or blonde frizzy hair. The most distinctive feature was a tattoo on her left hand, located in the webbing between her thumb and index finger. It was described as a circle with an X inside, a marking that investigators hoped would help identify her. Multiple witnesses also noted that Sheila appeared to be pregnant, a detail that would later prove significant when criminal psychologists analyzed the case. The FBI's investigation expanded rapidly, with agents pursuing every possible lead. They checked records of stolen vehicles matching the description of Sheila's car, investigated known associates of the Verville family, and examined the possibility that this was somehow connected to Kevin Sr.'s military service. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the trail remained cold. Sheila had executed what appeared to be the perfect crime, leaving behind no physical evidence, no reliable witnesses who could identify her beyond the composite sketches, and no clear motive that investigators could understand. The case that began with such promise for a quick resolution was becoming one of the most frustrating investigations in FBI history. Every lead seemed to evaporate under scrutiny, every tip led to dead ends, and every potential breakthrough crumbled under investigation. The psychological impact on the family was immediate and devastating. Kevin Sr. later revealed that the abduction fundamentally changed how they viewed the world and other people. For Angelina, the trauma was even more profound. She had been the one sitting in that car, holding her baby, making the decision to trust a stranger. The marriage between Kevin Sr. and Angelina couldn't survive the trauma and stress of the abduction. They eventually divorced, though both remained committed to finding their son. 5 years after Kevin Jr.'s disappearance, Angelina gave birth to a daughter, Angelica. This child would grow up knowing she had an older brother she had never met. The case officially went cold in the mid-1980s, though it was never officially closed. The FBI file remained active, and agents continued to follow up on occasional tips and leads. But the reality was stark. Without new evidence or a breakthrough, Kevin Jr. might never be found. In 2021, something changed. Angelica Ramsey, now 40 years old, decided she couldn't accept that her brother's case had been forgotten. She reached out to investigators, asking if there were any new developments or if modern technology might provide fresh opportunities to solve the case. Her inquiry came at a perfect time. Advances in DNA technology, age progression software, and digital investigation techniques had revolutionized cold case investigations. The FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children were eager to apply these new tools to cases like Kevin Jr.'s. The renewed investigation began with creating an age-progressed image of what Kevin Jr. might look like at 45 years old. This wasn't just a simple computer-generated aging process. It involved analyzing his infant photos, studying his parents' facial features, and using sophisticated software to project how his appearance might have changed over 4.5 decades. In June 2025, the FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children held a press conference in Oceanside, California, announcing a major new push to solve the case. Kevin Sr., now in his 70s, spoke publicly about the case for the first time in years. Angelica Ramsey also spoke, making a direct plea to her unknown brother, telling him he was loved and missed. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children partnered with GSTV to create a 15-second video featuring Kevin Jr.'s age-progressed image, displaying it at 29,000 gas stations across 49 states throughout July 2025, reaching millions of people. The most significant development involves DNA technology. The FBI has submitted genetic material from Kevin Jr.'s parents to databases that can potentially identify matches with people who have taken commercial DNA tests. If Kevin Jr. or any relatives have taken ancestry tests, genetic genealogy could finally provide the breakthrough investigators have sought for 45 years. Modern criminal profilers believe Sheila possessed advanced understanding of psychology and social engineering. Her systematic approach suggests someone with professional training or extensive criminal experience. The FBI now believes she may have been responsible for other unsolved infant abductions during the same time period. The renewed investigation has revealed new insights about the original case. The level of planning involved, the specific ethnic targeting, and the sophisticated manipulation techniques used by Sheila all suggest someone who understood how investigations work and had taken specific steps to avoid leaving traces. For the Verville family, time is both their enemy and their ally. Each passing day means potential witnesses grow older and memories fade, but it also means new technologies become available. Angelina Verville has suffered strokes and can no longer speak, adding urgency to the investigation. The FBI has offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to Kevin Jr.'s location. The gas station video campaign reaches an estimated 50 million people monthly, generating hundreds of tips. While most have been ruled out, several remain under active investigation. Statistical analysis suggests children abducted as infants are usually raised by their captors with no knowledge of their true origins. Unlike stranger abductions of older children, infant abductions by women wanting to raise the children have higher survival rates, giving investigators hope that Kevin Jr. is still alive. The message from investigators is clear: it's never too late to do the right thing. Whether it's Kevin Jr. recognizing his story, someone noticing similarities, or even someone who knew Sheila, human courage may be the final piece of this puzzle. After 45 years, the Verville family's hope remains unbroken. Their determination has outlasted technological revolutions and inspired countless others who refuse to give up. Somewhere out there, Kevin Art Verville Jr. may be living his life, possibly unaware his biological family has never stopped searching. This isn't just a cold case. It's a testament to unbreakable family bonds and the belief that truth will finally come to light. The search continues.